below average temperatures will hang around for quite a bit of the central and eastern U.S. well into next week, but parts of the western U.S. will start to heat up, especially as we get into this weekend and next week as well. We also have a new area to watch in the Atlantic because of a tropical wave that will be making its way off the west coast of Africa on Sunday and into Monday. Taking a look here at our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and so the Climate Prediction Center highlights the area that has the highest chance of receiving below average temperatures into the Midwest and quite a bit of the central U.S. as a whole, but especially into the Midwest and parts of the Great Lakes states. And then into the western U.S., temperatures are expected to be well above average for the next 6 to 10 days as we get further into August and then finally into early September, and also into the Florida Peninsula. That's another area that will probably be above average for the next 6 to 10 days. Alaska will also be above average for temperatures, especially into the southeastern part of the state for the next 6 to 10 days. Hawaii is also expected to be above average for the next 6 to 10 days. Taking a look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, below average temperatures are expected to hang around in the eastern and parts of the central U.S., with above average temperatures dominating the western U.S. and parts of the deep south and the Florida Peninsula. The same goes for Alaska, with above average temperatures dominating most of the southern half of the state. Hawaii will also be above average for the next 8 to 14 days. Tomorrow on Friday, temperatures are expected to be pretty mild around the Ohio Valley and then into the northeast as well, but then out towards the central and western U.S., temperatures will be into the 70s and 80s, even into the 60s in some areas. Then as we get further into the weekend, we'll start to warm up just a little bit in the western U.S., but below average temperatures will hang around into the central and eastern U.S. On Sunday and Monday, 70s and 80s across parts of the eastern U.S. and parts of the western U.S. and southwestern U.S., mainly seeing in between 90 and 100 there. And then up further into the northwest, temperatures even in getting into the lower 90s in some areas next week. Then as we get further into next week, maybe around midweek, we'll have another shot of cold air, another cold front start to move in. And so temperatures could be around and into the 60s and 70s across quite a bit of the central U.S., but the western U.S. will remain warm, and that cold air will really make its way all the way down to the southeast, and temperatures should be around the 60s, 70s, and 80s for a good portion of the central and eastern U.S. and into the southwestern U.S. and northwestern U.S., seeing temperatures into the 80s and 90s as we get further into next week, even into next weekend. So what do our rain chances look like on the GFS weather model? So continuing on here, getting into tomorrow on Friday, rain will be into the northeast, deep south, and central U.S. And then as we get into this weekend as well, continued rain chances into the central U.S. And that will shift a little bit further eastward as we get into early next week as well. Rain chances into the deep south, Florida, into the central U.S., mid-south as well as we get to Monday, Tuesday. Then getting into further into the week, we could once again see that cold front start to move through, and that will deliver a good bit of rain towards the Midwestern U.S. as well, especially the Ohio Valley for a good bit on maybe Wednesday and into Thursday. And that should just about move into the northeast by maybe late Thursday into Friday. And once we have that cold front move out of here, the rain chances will probably be lower into the eastern U.S. for sure, but continued chances of rain will definitely be possible into the central U.S. over the next several days. So what's the latest on the tropics? So we only have one area to watch in the Atlantic right now, and so here we have an area off the west coast of Africa, and it has a 0% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone within the next 2 days and a 20% chance within the next 7 days. So this will be our newest area to watch, and really all we can do right now is just continue to watch the models and wait, especially as we get further into next week. So what are the chances of this area developing into a system? So let's look here on the GEFS weather model here, and so we can look at our ensembles, and so this gives us a general idea of what the chances of this kind of developing are. Look here into Tuesday, and then even into Wednesday, we have a kind of low end to moderate signal of something developing here. So we'll need to watch it as we get into next week, but really after that, we can't look too much into this because it's just going to be too far out to tell really at this time, because now we're getting well over 200 hours out and into next weekend. So all we really can do now is just see how this system may develop, this wave really, I should say, as it gets off the west coast of Africa. So let's look at the EPS ensembles as well. And so it's pretty pretty much the same, a little bit lower than the GEFS ensembles, and it doesn't have a very strong signal at all of anything getting developed, but it does try to get a few members closer to the Lesser Antilles, but it doesn't have it drift further north like the GEFS does. So once again, we'll continue to watch this area, but there's nothing to worry about right now. So that'll be it for tonight's update. I appreciate all y'all watching, and I hope y'all have a great Friday.